Hey guys, Kendall with BlackOvis, and I got in my hands the brand new 2025 Thor II. Not that the Thor II is brand new, but this particular colorway in the brown is brand new, and it's a new addition to the Thor lineup. The Thor is an interesting boot, and I'd like to go over just a couple of the details of this boot in case maybe you've not seen it before, or you just want to get a refresher of what was the difference between Thor I and Thor II and various colorways that have gone through. This boot, in my opinion, so this is one of the last boots in the original, let's call it the original lineup from 5 years ago. This is the last boot that I personally tried, and it's a very unique boot. A lot of guys, I remember 8-10 years ago, guys were just bananas about this particular boot. They couldn't get enough of it, and I kept asking myself, what's going on? Like, is there a Colt that I'm not a part of and I'm missing? But the Thor II is a really unique boot in that it's way lightweight. Comes in at, this is an 8.5, comes in at 1 pound, 5.8 ounces. Laponia 3 comes in at 1 pound, 5.1 or 2 ounces in a size 8.5. So we're talking half of an ounce difference. And I think that because it's not the lightest in the kind of the higher boots, not the Laponia Light or the Ativa Mid, but because it doesn't really claim that title as the lightest boot like it used to, I think it lost a little bit of the focus. The other thing that's super unique, and I don't know another boot in hunting, as well as even some of the mountain brands that play in the hunting market or people use them in hunting situations. I don't know another boot that is this light, that is this kind of moldable or agile, I will say, that comes in a 4-flex. And this boot, I mean, this has got some beef to it. And so my original impression of the Thor II and even the Thor I was that this boot was light, I got it. You can feel like a sneaky little ninja, I got it. It's super mobile, and potentially, in my opinion, with a guy that, like, from skateboarding to football to baseball to just messing around the mountains, I think, and my sister pitching me off our deck when I was young, I've broken my ankle and or rolled it. Gosh, I've done probably 10 times, been in like serious sprained ankle or broken situation. So for me, this latitude, I still feel like it doesn't give me personally enough support, but all the people raving about how rad this boot was, I thought that the stiffness would take away from the comfort, and man, was I completely wrong. I own a pair in the original black and orange, which is super loud and Euro. Crispi has toned those down, and the green, what used to have the black and orange, used to have the super vibrant orange, which is the one I have. They now have a green one, and then brand new in 2025 is this brown version, which honestly, this looks pretty dang sharp, and you might even take this out on date night. This thing is sweet. So couple of quick features: PU Tech throughout the entirety of the lower portion of the boot, stretch nylon in the tongue, increases the breathability, still has that gore booty in there like all the Crispi boots does. You're going to be waterproof up to about this zone here, Cordura on the upper, stretch nylon in the middle, a little bit of waterproof suede, or waterproof treated, not waterproof, sorry, water resistant suede, and you still have a dual density EVA lightweight midsole, and then the bottom is the Crispi claw, and that's one of the things I like. I like this sole. It does wear out a little faster, so if you're heavy on your boot or you're using this every day, just know you're going to roll through this sole a little faster. But the one thing I love about this sole compared to, let's say, any of the other soles is the shape of it. It's narrow in the throat, it's narrow in the heel, it has a trail running kind of feel or look, and you can be sneaky in this guy. But the beautiful thing about that added stiffness is you're gonna get, and I don't feel it when I'm just walking, quite frankly, like I do in some of the other Crispi boots, but the added benefit is when you're side hilling. And I'm telling you guys, when you're side hilling on this boot, that's torsional stiffness and that flex stiffness, or you're front pointing up a hill and you're really like digging on that toe and it's really steep, that's where you're going to get all the bang for your buck out of the Thor III. So if I'm using this boot, the one other thing I'll say, a lot of guys in the tree saddle, the guys that are saddle hunting, have really gravitated to this boot for early season because it is really lightweight. It does breathe extremely well. It doesn't have all this extra bulk and such around the ankle and the upper shaft of the calf and the leg, lower leg. But when you're climbing up in either you're climbing up aiders or you're climbing on sticks, or you're sitting on the saddle platform, so you're on the edge of the platform, because of the stiffness of the boot, I've known a lot of guys from a lot of different tree saddle companies, as well as just guys in general, have grabbed the Thor and thought this is like that secret weapon for saddle hunting. So that's an added use, but I'm using this boot in like archery season, and I'm layering it into like desert country where I'm, maybe it's a little rocky, or lower country where it's steep and still warm. A lot of guys in Arizona are using this in rough country, or even coos deer hunters. So a lot of uses. I think it's becoming a sleeper in the Crispi line, and I hope that this video gives you an idea of how this boot might fit for your type of hunting. And I'd love to see a resurgence in popularity of the Thor, because I think it is being overlooked. It doesn't really like flash out. There's a lot of cool boots Crispi is making, but the Thor III is certainly worth your look. And in the new brown color, I think she's a winner. So if you have any questions about this particular boot or any of the Crispi lineup, hop on blackovis.com, check us out through chat, call us on the phone. Our gear guides will talk you through what kind of boot might work for you, and we'll see if the Thor III ends up on your foot this fall on your hunts.